Wow, that's really touch one to say. If there are super intelligent aliens out there, they're probably already observing us. That's why you seem quite cloudy and we're not smart enough to realize it. But I can do some back of the envelope calculations and any event alien civilization that is an own interest interested in populating the galaxy, even without exceeding the speed of light. Even if you're only moving at, say, 10 or 20% of the speed of light, you could populate the entire galaxy in let's say 10 million years, maybe 20 million years later. This is nothing in the grand schemes of things. One you said wanted to die in on Mars. To be clear, I don't want to die on Mars. It's like if we are going to die someday, and if you're going to pick some place to die, then why not Mars? You know, if you were born on Earth, why not die on Mars? Seems may be quite exciting, but I think even of the choice between dying on Earth or dying on Mars, I say sure I will die on Mars, but it's not some kinds of Mars death with us. And if I do die on Mars, I just don't want to go in part. Let's come back to Earth. Actually, you tweeted that you are building a tunnel under Washington D.C. Why? What is it? It's a secret plot. Okay, just between us. Nobody have use? Yes, exactly. Let's keep that a secret. I think this is going to sound a little. I mean, it seems like so much travel or sleep, but I've been saying this for many years from now. I think that the solution to urban congestion is a network of tunnels under cities. And when I say that, I don't mean a 3D plane of tunnels. I mean tunnels that go many level deeper. Deep. You can say I'll always go deeper than you can go up. I like a deepest mind, a deeper than the tallest building. So you can have a network of tunnels that is 20, 30, 40, 50 levels, as many levels as you want, really. And so given that it can overcome the contractions situation, in any city and in the world. The challenge is how do you build tunnels quickly and at low cost and with a high safety. So if a tunnel technology can be improved to the point where you can build tunnels fast, cheap, and safe, then that could completely get rid of traffic situations in cities. And so that's why I think it's important in technology and Washington DC, LA, and most of major American cities, most major cities in the world suffer from severe traffic issues. And it's mostly because you got these tweets building that a tweety you have the core network is one level. And then people generally want to go and exact as the exact time. So then you get a traffic time. Let's come back to your year in Dubai. The first time I met you, it was the 4th of June in 2015 as your space. And I asked you, would you have a presence in UAE? And your answer is I'm busy with China. Maybe not in the near futures and almost a years and a half here. We're here. Same time, guess quest. Why now? I think actually things going really well in China. So we have something initial challenges figuring out charging and service infrastructures and various other things, but now it's actually going very well and so the timing seemed to be good to really make a significant debut in this region starting in Dubai. In your opinion, what is the new disturbing thing that will come next in technology? What is in the technology that will disturb the way we live, the way we think, the way we do business? Well, the most near into impart from a technological standpoint is autonomous car, like fully self-driving cars. I would say that going to happen much faster than people realize. So, and that's going to be a great convenience to be in an automated car, but there are many people who jobs is to ride. So if in fact, I think it might be the single largest employer of people is driving in various forms. And so then we need to figure out a new route for what do these people do. And but it will be very disruptive and quick. I just characterize it, but I mean by quick because they are quick mean different thing to different way. There are 2 billion vehicles in the world. Approaching is affected 2.5 billion cars and trucks in the world. The total new vehicle reduction capacity is about 100,000, and which makes sense because life of a car before its financial scrap in 2020 years. So the point that which we see full autonomy appear will not be the point at which there is massive saturation people because it would take a long time to make enough autonomous vehicles to disrupt employment. So that the projections I'm talking about will take place over about 20 years. So 20 years is a short period of time to have I think something like 12 to 15% of the workforce to be employed. Yeah, thank you. This is the largest global government summit. We have over 139 governments here. If you want to advise government officials to be really for in future, what 3 pieces of advice can you give them? Well, I think the first piece of advice is to really, really place close attention to development of artificial intelligence. I think this is we need to be very careful in how we adopt artificial intelligence and to make sure that researchers don't get carried away because sometimes what happens in that scientist can be at cross in their work and they don't necessarily realize the ramifications of what they are doing. So I think it's important for public safety and that the governments keep a close eye on artificial intelligence and make sure that it's the not represent as public. And let's see, secondly, I could say we do need to think about transport in general and this the movement towards electric vehicles, sustainable transport. I think that's going to be good for many creations, but again, that's not something that happens immediately. That's going to slower down the self-driving vehicles because that's probably something that's happened over 34 or 40 years that transition electric vehicles. So thinking about it, that in the context, the demand of electricity will increase dramatically. So currently, in terms of total energy usage in the world is about 130 and 1/3 transport or about 30. Showed over time that will transition to almost all, not all, but predominantly electricity, which means that the demand for electricity will probably triple. So it's going to be very important to so much more electricity. And and It seems they have the antithesis trap, right? There's no more challenges for them. No, well, I think maybe these things stimulate into each other, Dickinson. But what to do about measures enlightenment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we have to some kind of universal basic. I don't think you're going to be easy. Universal basic income. It is really going to be necessary. So it means that unemployed people will be paid across cost. Yes, because there are no work job. Machines, robots are take over. There are fewer and fewer jobs that robots cannot take. That is similarly that I want to be clear, these are nothing that I wish could happen. These things simply thing that I think probably will happen. And so if my assessment is correct and the recovery will happen, and then we need to say that we are going right. And I think some kinds of universal basics income is going to necessary. And now the output of goods and services will be extremely high. And so with the automation, there will come abundance. There will be almost everything will get very cheap. The so I think the biggest, I think we just end the universal basic income is it going necessary? The harder challenge, much harder challenge is to how do people then have meaning. Like a lot of people they derive their meaning from their enlightenment. So if you don't have, if you are not needed, but if they're not needed for your labor, how do you, what is your meaning? Do you have meaning? Do you less usefulness? That's a much harder problem to deal with. And then how you ensure that the future is going to be future the one that is we shall like. I mean, the thing there's a potential path here, which is I really getting into science fiction or structured advanced science stuff, but having some structured merger with biological intelligence and machine intelligence. To some degree, we are really as a tribal. You think of like the digital tune that you phone, your computer, the application that you have. Like a fact is that, as I mentioned earlier, you can ask questions and instantly get an answer from Google or from other things. And so you already have a digital touchery layer. I said touchery because I can think of kinds of animal brain, of the mammal brain, and the cortex, like a thinking, planning, the part of brain, and the digital self is a third layer. So you don't really that, and I think that's somebody else that they are digital ghost. The emails and the pictures that are posted and the social media that still live and even if they died. So over time, I think we rapidly see a closer merge of biological intelligence and digital intelligence. It's mostly about the bandwidth, the speech of the connection between your brain and your the digital extension of yourself. Particularly output and if anything is getting worse, you used to the keyboards that you can use now, you do most of our input through our thumbs on the phones. And that's just very slow. A computer can communicate at a trillion pieces per second, but your thumb can maybe do maybe 10 bits per second or if you're big in generals. So some high barriers interface the brain to be something that helps achieve symbiosis between human and machine intelligence and maybe solves the control problem and the usefulness problem. I get a great exotic here. I get it close. We got it. always you think out of the box. Your ideas are so huge. You want to go to stage, you decided to go to stage, you did it. You decided that you want to be land your rocket back. You failed 7 times, 8 times. Yeah, yeah. Then then it landed 4 times. How do you come with the ideas? Sometimes they are pushing the human limits. You are always pushing the human limit. Why? Hmm. Well, I I think about a technology solution is necessary in order to achieve that particular goal and then try to make as much as that directions as possible. So in the case of the space life, the theoretical versus necessary in space life is rapid and complete and reproducible. And you just have the aircraft. You can imagine that if the aircraft were single use and almost no one good life because you can buy say 74/7 maybe $250, $300. You need to program and nobody is going to be millions of dollars for a ticket to fly to do air travel. So but because you can reuse the aircraft tens of thousands of times, the air travel becomes much possible. And the same is true broadcast. Our broadcast costs a 60 millions dollar, and so a capital cost if it can be used once in $60 million. But if the capital cost if it can be used a thousand of times is $60,000. So then if you can carry a lot of people for a ride, then you can get a cost of space flight to be something not far from the cost of air flight. So it's truly fundamental because Earth gravity is quite deep. Earth is a fairly high gravity. The difficulty of making a rocket usable is much greater than the difficulty of making an aircraft reusable. That's why a fully reusable rocket hasn't been developed thus far. But if you use the most advanced materials, the most advanced at that design signatures and you get everything is right, then you're confident that you can do a fully reusable rocket. Fortunately, its Earth gravity is even 10% stronger. I would say it's good than visible. You need a team around you to deliver a lot of the ideas. How do you choose your team based on what? Well, I suppose honestly that it tends to be a gut feeling more than anything else. So when I interview somebody, the main questions are always the same. What did you ask? I say, tell me the story of your life and the decisions that you make along with that, why you make them, and then, and also tell me about some of the most difficult problems in your life and how you solve them. Um, and that questions I think is very important because the people that really solve the problem, they know exactly how to solve it. They know the little details. And the people that pretended to solve the problem, they can maybe go all over and they can get stopped. So, what's your biggest challenge in life? Hmm. Biggest challenge in life? Hmm. No challenge? Well, no idols. I'm trying to sort good in the works. I think it's just thinking about it to spend time. Hmm. One of the biggest challenge I think is making sure you corrective and making maintaining that corrective feedback love over time, even when people won't tell you that exactly what is going. That's really very difficult. Yes. Time's over. I ask you just one last questions if you allow me. In the work government submits, we have so many people from so many young people and from across the globe. If you have an advice to them, young people probably who want to be like Elon Musk, what is your advice to them? I think that probably they shouldn't want to be you. I think it sounds a little better than it is. Okay. Yeah, it's not as much fun being to me as you can. I don't know. I don't know. It could be worse for sure. But it's I am not sure I want to be me. Okay. But I think my advice is if you want to make the correct thing, I think that is the best analytical framework for, I would say, in the futures in physics. I recommend studying the thinking up process around the physics. Like, and not just equations. The equations are certainly very helpful, but the way of thinking in physics is the best framework for understanding things that are counter driving, and always take the positions that you are to some degree wrong, and your goal is to be less wrong over time. One of the biggest mistakes people generally make, and I'm guilty to do, is wishing something, like you want to something to be true even if it isn't true, and so you ignore the things that you ignore the real true because of what you. This is very difficult trap to avoid. Like I said, there's certainly one that I find myself in having problems with. But if you just take the approach of what you are to degree on, and your goal is to be wrong. And so it's a critical feedback, particularly from friends. Like a friends, somebody loves you, they want the best you for you. They don't want to tell you the bad thing. So you have to ask them and say, I do really want to know, and then they will tell you. Thank you very much. It's been it's great for the World Government Summit to have a legend who's creating the future for humanity to share his thoughts, ideas, his visions, challenges, and his hope for life. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.